Okay, so for this week's video, I'm going to tell you a short story. Now, in school, I was known as the class clown. Back then, I wasn't truly aware of the fact I probably bothered a lot of people. Wilts also made a lot of people smile and laugh. Overall, getting into high school and getting through it is kind of a blur for me. I didn't finish with the rest of my colleagues that I grew up with because as soon as I turned 18, I moved out of my dad's house to live with my mom. They were split up when I was very, very little. I think I was 5 months old, so never had any say in that. Love them both anyways. So I literally moved out the night that I turned 18. I enrolled in a new high school, started hanging out with a new crowd, where I found myself exploring, partying, drinking, and having the fun or overwhelming type of freedom I always wanted to have and should have never had in the first place when living with my dad. Yeah. So from 19 years old until I was about 25 or 26, unfortunately, I did not have my shit straight. Oddly enough, around that time, about 25 or 26, I was starting to feel like my life really needed to get more squared away and I needed to start taking my personal development, physique, and mental growth a little bit more serious. And to be honest, I believe that I found God. That's a whole other topic for another day. So I ended up landing a pretty great job after turning things around once I was like 27 years old. I promised the head of the company that if they hired me, I'd go back and finish my high school credits, I guess, and then get my diploma. And before I knew it, I was driving from Lemoore, California, which is where I worked, to Avenel, which was where the adult school was, after numerous shifts, tired as heck, sleepy, but still determined. And it wasn't until I'd accomplished that small milestone where I realized, like, hey, if I can do this while working a full-time job, what else am I possibly capable of? From there, the adventure started. Fast forward to today, and the adventure is still in action, but a lot has changed since then. Nothing's perfect, and by no means am I a perfect person, a perfect dad, or perfect husband, let alone perfect son or brother. Some of my most embarrassing moments, thank God, have happened in private, while others not so privately. Not things that I'm not too proud of, but God forgive me, please. Plenty of the things I wish I didn't do and other things I just believe were meant to happen for good purpose. So, what are we getting at? There was a day in my life where I started to realize if I'm going to get or do better and leave this world better than it was when I came into it, I'm the one that needs to change or make the choice at that very moment and follow through with it, like I did when promising the big boss of a pretty huge company where I ended up making $25 an hour without a high school education, only to end up earning the diploma, right? So at that very moment, I chose to work on myself. I became the project that needed to be rebuilt. I could trust God to do the inner workings while also I'd like to contribute in my eyes. I always used to say, yeah, I'm a student in life. But understanding what that meant at the time was barely like at the surface level compared to my understanding to this day. It's like becoming a parent. A copy of you and your wife or you and your significant other finally manifests from the inner workings of the woman's womb. And then, bam, you've got a baby you need to learn how to teach, grow, etc. In the same way, I too needed to learn how to parent myself because since I was 18 until about 27 years old, apparently I was a wreck, or in other words, a loose cannon. So with this video, I challenge you to brainstorm your next project as though your life depends on it, because God forbid this happen. But say, for instance, you never take the time to build yourself up, and then you happen to get news that, hey, you've got a certain amount of time left, and now you should probably get things in order, or you've got a long fight ahead of you. Here's something else. think about your life like great conquerors in history. You win one battle by taking territory you either never owned, or you win back territory you previously owned by attempting to strategically accomplish the unthinkable. Those territories in your life today could be what? Your health, for one, your finances, which is simultaneously something I've been actively pursuing to change in my own life. Or what about your mental health? Or maybe just to get the fun back to your life that you used to have, and it wasn't holding you back from being the wonderful being you are, but somehow it is. You know what I mean? Just remember, history's well-known conquerors didn't always just win or conquer by aimlessly approaching a battle. They always had support systems, advisors, sometimes supportive politicians that shared beliefs, shared ethicals, and so on. I guess you would say philosophies. And, while in other contexts, elders, right? So my challenge for you with this week is to use the TLAP segment, strategies and thinking, when you approach brainstorming what your next project should be, and do it to the best of your ability. There's no need to fear trying or failing, because right now, there's no right or wrong answers. All there is you and your ability to either quickly learn how to fail fast and fix it faster, what needs to be fixed or changed, and obviously to keep progressing. With that said, my name's Rick Reyna Jr. If you haven't come to my channel before, and today happens to be that day, this is week 3 of a 5-part series, I guess you would say. And this segment that I mentioned, TLAP, is called Think Like a Programmer. You can find it as the most recent video on my channel. It is a segment for this topic. I just wanted to be a lot more down to earth and relate a lot more, and not just throw out a bunch of strategies and thought and ideas and theory and practice and just bombard you with all that. I wanted to really be vulnerable for a second, because I know that when I get into the zone of being in the gym daily and being so consistent with everything that I could possibly line myself up with on a daily, like with certain tasks and certain things that I want to learn and certain things that I want to make sure I do in a day, I could get in this place where everything can feel like I'm walking on water, right? And then randomly, things can happen. And those are those battles where it's nice to be able to have some type of strategy to fall back on and make sure that you keep going, right? And not only that you keep going, but growing to learn from those small battles and eventually being the overcomer. Peace out. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. If you like this video, click the like button. It'll only help the YouTube algorithm recommend this video to other people that could use this type of content and that might be actively searching for this type of stuff. Self-development, self-help, psychology, etc. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.